People of the world, welcome to Marketing as a Foreign Language Live. This the 269th episode of the show. I am thrilled because today we have a panel of incredible experts for your entertainment and education pleasure. We're going to be talking about 2021 Best Media for Marketing. First up, we've got Vanessa Zamey. She's a business expert, keynote speaker, and best-selling author dedicated to helping full-time employees transition to entrepreneurship by building their business while employed. So not your typical sort of just jump right into it. No, stay employed. Let's get everything figured out. Let's do our thing. And then kaboom, Vanessa live on the show. Good to see you again. What are we on? Third appearance?
Yeah, third appearance. Happy to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Next up, we got Kevin Snow, the founder of Time on Target, an Army veteran, sales expert, and serious technology geek who knows how to help his clients take their sales and marketing automation game to the next level with a 20-plus year career in business development, working with brands like Frontier Communications, Dextel, Salesforce, and BNI. His knowledge, skills, and understanding of communication and technology are getting real results for the businesses he works with. He, ladies and gentlemen, told me not too long ago that I should be the lead salesperson for my organization, and just that one little nugget of information totally changed the way I started behaving. Welcome to the show, Kevin Snow.
Hey, it's great to be back. I'm really excited to be here. Can't wait for the conversation.
Yes, good stuff. And last but not least, we have Lucas Caneda, a professional rugby player and global team leader of Unicorn, the largest rural tech incubator accelerator in the world. He is also the director of one of its startups, Challenger X, a SaaS company who is turning Davids into Goliaths. We had a good conversation about how they're hosting an event in France in short order. You're going to want to stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Lucas Caneda.
Hello, Kevin. Nice to be here. Thank you for the invite.
All right, good times. So it's an international panel, so it's very sophisticated just right off the start. So in 2021, everyone's been talking about TikTok. Okay, that's been probably the most talked about new social media platform. Do any of you have any experience with the platform, and has it worked for you?
I watch the videos occasionally. That's about my experience with it. One of the companies I work with actually does quite a bit on TikTok. And they really use it more just for awareness and getting their video and their name out. It's not so much a hey, click this link and buy things. It's really about just building the following for them. And it's what we found watching it's been really odd because one TikTok that'll do, or one video that'll do just fantastic and get a ton of people watching it and liking it and commenting. So we'll do another similar video and we'll get nothing. And it's really inconsistent how the views work. And I don't know if anyone's really figured out what the TikTok algorithm actually is yet, so they can figure out how to employ it correctly. Because even I have a couple of friends who are on there that have, hundreds of thousands of followers. They have the same thing. They will have one video that has millions of views, and the next one will get like 10.
Yeah, there definitely is a discrepancy. Go ahead, Lucas.
I think, Kevin, on that end, I think you are right that the algorithm is still to be unleashed. But also, I think that the target audience for TikTok being that very young kids, it's quite hectic, their behavior too. So that's also why what keeps changing that much, because you never know who's going to like what you're doing. And maybe, fashions get very, very old, very, very quick with young people. So they're just interested about something else. And if the target audience is that young, sometimes you get that trouble. We use it for our rugby club because we manage our rugby club. We actually founded a company that has taken over last year the local club here in Sala. And we do have TikTok. And again, it's not as consistent as the other social media that we're using.
Right. So I can see TikTok for rugby easy. That's an easy match. Nothing to it. Vanessa, are you famous on TikTok yet?
I'm not famous on TikTok. I intentionally decided not to be on TikTok. But I would say that in terms of, I have seen that, there are, I wouldn't say young kids, but at least I know of like sort of late stage millennial, like there are people like near 20s and 30s who are getting more and more into TikTok, and it's being sort of shared as a new YouTube situation, like another place where people can learn things and teach things, etc. And so I can see it becoming a little bit more handy for the business side of things a couple years from now. So I would say, to Kevin and maybe to your friends, keep at it so that you can ride the wave as it comes along. But I know there are people who have started to, sell how to make money on TikTok sort of type of things. And, because people are making it through the sponsorship probably. Mainly, it's probably what's happening right now in terms of how I haven't seen anyone be able to sort of monetize it in a sense other than, what you can do in other social media platforms. So, as I say, but I intentionally decided not to do it just because the audience is still so young, and it still seems like it's the audience that is like I'm just learning free flow.
I felt very similarly about TikTok, and I am on a quest just like the rest of you to become popular, because that's where the money is apparently. And so I will get 10 times as much traffic on TikTok as any other social platform, because there's a big discrepancy between the number of creators and the number of users. There just aren't as many creators. And it's a misnomer to think that TikTok is just dancing. There is an SAT prep dude that is just rich off his gourd. There's a lawyer that just took over the lawyer space. It's crazy. The social media lawyer, Mike, whatever. So it's just wild to see a non-American, mind you, because Facebook, Instagram, Google, I mean, there are some major international companies, American companies that have dominated the space for such a long time, to see ByteDance through China come in and go. Even the Trump administration was trying to take them down, and they wouldn't go down. And they're very, very popular.
I think you're right. The content on TikTok over the last 6 months has had a drastic change, and it's pivoted. 6 months ago, 9 months ago, it was all the dancing thing and what's the latest TikTok dance. But, last week I ended up on a how to cook Korean page, and I'm like, all right, I'll like and watch this. We're following it. But there's all that type of content coming out now, which is much more geared to an older audience. And I think I'm probably the oldest one here at 48. So, but there's a lot of my generation on there too. A lot of Gen Xers that are now engaged in creating. We have people that are making, that are knife and metalwork experts that are doing how-tos and showing the creation process. And there's such a wide variety now that you don't see on the other social media platforms.
Yeah, it is fascinating. Let's move on from TikTok. And Vanessa, I'm going to throw this question to you, and this is a little bit to Lucas as well, I suppose. So Vanessa, you work with folks that are in that entrepreneurial stage. Lucas, you work with them insofar as you're trying to get them investment, perhaps through someone who's got a lot of money. And then, of course, Kevin will be working with them on the sales side. So when it comes to an entrepreneur, and I understand this is a very broad question, you probably need me to be more specific about the product itself. But what are the social media platforms that you tend to have people focus on when they're just getting the ball rolling?
So this, for me at least, it depends on the business model as well as the product and the business itself. And so my whole belief is that every marketing strategy works, every platform works. You can make money on anything, doing anything, right? And so for my clients, what I tell them, or essentially what I work with them when we're developing their marketing strategy, is really looking at, okay, who is their audience, right? Where's their audience? How does my client like to communicate? And then how does my client's ideal audience like to communicate and take in information? And so that is sort of like the way, and then from there, we kind of figure out and narrow down the actual, platforms that'll be best. And then from there, really narrowing in on, okay, how much time do my clients have? Because I'm working with people who have a day job and they have a business and they're managing a family. And so it's also just, okay, to be successful on this platform, you may need to do posting every single day. Can you do that? Are you ready for that? Okay, you're not? Okay, great. So maybe let's try something else, right? So it's also, essentially it's like a balancing of all those different pieces of the amount of time they have the resources, where their audience is, where do they prefer to communicate. And then from there, it's then being consistent on the platform that you choose. That's really the most important piece, right? You choose one platform, you choose a platform or 1 to 2 platforms, and you just have to be consistent on it, right? It's not just, I tried TikTok for a month, it didn't work. Okay, next. It's more so, okay, I tried TikTok for like 3 years. Maybe it's not working, or like essentially whatever it may be. But you're always essentially trying that platform and actually trying to, grow following and commit to that and be consistent in it. And then from there, the growth will come. But it's one of those things where, some of my clients use Instagram, some of them use Facebook, some of them use LinkedIn, some of them don't even use social media. They're doing the outside networking space. And so it really just depends on the client, the business, and their preferences.
One of the things that we work with our clients on is, I'm horrible at social media posting. I try to post every day and it just doesn't happen. But I am really active in groups. And I love finding the groups where my clients hang out. And that's really what we teach a lot of our clients as well. Is, all right, so you aren't posting every day. That's fine. But you're active. Go into a group that's filled with entrepreneurs and start having conversations. Start sharing your expertise to get that person to say, hey, I want to talk to you more. Can we have a chat? And you start having those one-on-one conversations through Facebook Messenger that if you handle them right and you just don't jump right into, hey, you want to buy my stuff, can actually turn into a real conversation over Zoom where you can have that sales and that business conversation. But there's lots of ways that you can use social media that don't really necessarily involve you being the traditional social media person that are extremely effective and can be a really easy way to get someone into that space where they start feeling comfortable doing it. And now they want to expand out as, all right, so how do I get my own following?
Yeah, not going to lie to you. I am not a big groups guy. Go ahead, Lucas.
Yeah, on that end, I 100% agree with both of you. But for me, one of the key questions is, what's your objective with social media? What is it you want to achieve? Because sometimes we work with startups or business are in different places and need to have presence. Sometimes you only want, if someone looks for you, to be there and just to show capable of doing or producing. And sometimes media becomes an actual sales funnel. So you need to be able to identify what your objective is and narrow it from that down into your funnel. So if you manage to identify what you want to achieve with social media, and then you realize what target is the best, then you can choose appropriately where to spend most time into it. Like you said, Vanessa, some of our clients don't have as many resources as we would sometimes like. So we need to be able to identify and leverage those resources into the best results possible. And I think that comes a lot with setting good objectives and having that in mind, big approach.
So the world has changed drastically in the last year or two. The number of people producing content and specifically the number of shows that now exist has gone up like 1,000,000-fold because everyone's home. Everyone is, doing a show of some sort, and simulcasting took off, right? So going live on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all these places. How many of you have a show? We got, all right, 3 out of 4. So we got 3 out of 4 people on the panel with the show. Let's talk about your show. How do you grow it? What do you do to promote it? And then we'll talk to Lucas about whether or not you want to start one. Go ahead.
I can start. So my show essentially, my show's evolved in evolution. But when I first decided to sort of enter more seriously, it's talking to Lucas's point in terms of what's your objective in entering social media. At first, I was doing my sort of marketing outside of social media, and I just was like online, but not online. Then I decided to get more serious into it, thanks to COVID. And then essentially from there, I was like, okay, let me go live every single day for 365 days and just like test myself. So I did that for a whole year. And I was essentially mainly on Facebook. And then, you got into the whole multi-streaming. You could stream on many different platforms and all that stuff. And so from there, essentially then decided once I finished 365 days, I decided to go weekly. So I turned my show to a weekly show so I could be essentially more concentrated in the topic, share more information, etc. And so from there, now I have a weekly show. Been doing that since earlier this year. It's called Entrepreneurship is a Marathon. Every Tuesday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern, because my audience are the people with a day job and other such things. So evenings are best. So so essentially Entrepreneurship is a Marathon every Tuesday. And what I do is that it is an extension of my existing show. So it's marketing to that. I will share it on my social media, but there's also like when it comes to shows as well too, right? There's the pre-show, there's a during show, there's after show, right? It doesn't just stop with like, oh, the show happens, all right, the episode happens right next, right? No, so it's what I end up doing is I'll do something, get people to be on the show, on the comments, whatever it is in the chat, be there live with me on the day of, on the night of, then the day of happens. And then they're also watching replays. So I'd like to be like, hey, who's watching a replay, etc. And then from there, I'll share with my email list, with my group. Let's see what else. I'll share it with like other groups as well too. And then I let social media and the algorithm kind of like fan the flame the way that I want to fan the flame. And do its own science thing, etc. But that's actually the main way that I am marketing the show, is really just thinking about the what I'm doing what am I doing during, and then what am I doing afterwards. And the during is also, the title of the episode and like making sure all that other jazz. I rarely have guest speakers on my weekly show. A few times I may, but I mainly just do it as a like one woman show, like how to X, how to Y. And occasionally I'll have guest experts. I have an extension of the show that's private for my community, in which I do have like Friends of VZ. That's my initials, like Friends of VZ guest speaker series. So they come on Thursdays, which is a different day than the Tuesday show, and they share their expertise. And so that's kind of the way that I do that. And so, yeah, I'm not sure if I answered the question, but I think it did. But that's essentially my show. And really, this Entrepreneurship Marathon is really just about, different tips for people to grow their marketing and their sales and their mindset and time management and systems and leadership skills and financial skills as they grow their business and wear all the hats as a solopreneur before they transition to entrepreneurship.
Right. Go ahead, Kevin.
Nice. So my show's podcast-based, video and audio. So we're on all the major podcast distributors, but then we also do a ton of YouTube stuff. And we've really been focusing our energy on figuring out how to capture the YouTube piece and how to grow our viewers and followers there, because that is become a huge opportunity for people who can create really good content. So those have really been our focuses. Now we do all the, pre-promotion. Hey, this week on Growth Mode, we're going to be talking about this. We do all the post-show promotions on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok. So it's going out everywhere. And then the thing we're launching right now is we're actually launching a referral program for people to share the show and where they can earn Growth Mode swag. So you like the show, you want to share it out to people, you share this link, and if you get 5 people who opt in to get on our list, we're going to send you stickers. You get 10 people, you get a shirt. 20 people, we're going to send you these really cool leather-wrapped whiskey glasses. So, things that people can use and show off on their desk, and hopefully have someone say, hey, what's that whiskey glass? Oh, it's this cool podcast we listen to. So we do that. Our next iteration is actually, we're going to start adding in our own, because there's me and a co-host. We're going to start adding in our own individual episodes, which is more of a Donnie rant or a Kevin rant. So it's going to be, all right, so someone did something really stupid in the sales automation world this week, and I need to talk about it. And we're going to show you why it's really dumb that they did it and how not to do it in the future. And just really quick 5-10-minute episodes. And we're actually going to do those live on Facebook or LinkedIn, and then take those recordings and transition them into the podcast episodes. So we're going to do that a little bit different, start adding that in, and hopefully grab some more listeners that way.
So, Lucas, I wanted to ask you, I know you've got an event coming up shortly. How often do you hear these entrepreneurs talking about doing a show or live streaming as part of their potential marketing for their product or service that they're hoping to get investment from?
So not enough. You were speaking of, and you said that Kevin and Vanessa do have their own show. I do not have my own, but on the other hand, I am a firm believer that the marketing tool today, even a sales funnel, would say very, very good. The statistics show that at least 80% of the people that start listening to a show finish it, which is huge. That kind of attention for such a long period of time, it's actually like speaking in front of people, which I think it's a huge tool that we don't use enough. And again, I do not have I've been at least into 30 different shows myself. The funder of Unicorn has been in at least 100 for the past 3 to 6 months. Between the both of us, we are actually very active. In fact, in the new building that we bought a couple months ago, we've built 4 podcast rooms inside. 2 of them are going to be just to be a host as an individual. A 3rd room where you can actually participate into a show, being 2 people at the same time. And our 4th and biggest room, it's actually to host our own podcasts, our own interviews that we are, of course, leverage and repurposing, because that, again, is one of the key points about any content that you produce, is how do you repurpose and use it as much as you can. As you said, Kevin, in every place you're talking about it, you're making as much noise as you can about what you're doing, but what's coming, and that's what really gets you a lot more attention.
Yeah, I'm curious how people are getting the shows themselves onto like iTunes and Spotify. I use something called Buzzsprout that puts it on 13, 14 different podcasts. What are you all doing to get your show onto those platforms?
We're using Captivate. Captivate.fm is our podcast host, and they're awesome to work with. We actually, I chat in with them on a pretty regular basis, asking them questions, and they are super responsive. And they dive in and help us figure stuff out and look at things and give us suggestions. And so they've been really cool to work with, and they take care of all the heavy lifting for us. So that's been our go-to.
So what do they do specifically? Do they just put it on iTunes and Spotify and like all Deezer and all these different podcast platforms and call it a day, or do they promote it or do something else?
They do some promotion, but they also have built-in SEO. If you don't have your own website that you're going to be listing all your episodes on, they will actually have a built-in web page creator for your site. They provide. What's really cool that we didn't have with the previous show was the unified link, where you can click a link and it opens in whatever player you have on your phone. Captivate provides that as a built-in option. So you automatically get that link. So you don't have to share, well, here's your Apple link and here's your Google link. And if you want Spotify, go here. It's just, here's our link. And you can then pick what you want to go to. And it makes it really super easy. So it's been really nice for us. Plus their data that they're collecting seems deeper and more expansive than what we'd gotten with our previous host. So we're really excited with that part of it as well.
Mm-hmm. And Vanessa, is your show on iTunes and Spotify? Is it a podcast as well?
No, it's a video that can become a podcast when we decide to make that happen. But I'm keeping note. I just took notes. I was like, oh, Captivate. Let me look that up later. But it's essentially video. So I use StreamYard to multi-stream on different platforms. It's a great platform, and also, also feel like into production stuff too. It's like real fancy, but fancy for simple people. But yeah, but yes, it's great.
I think that's the motto for my life: fancy for simple people. So with Buzzsprout, one of the things it's okay. One of the things that I like about it is, we'll get our typical amount of downloads per day, but then we'll see these huge spikes. And I kept asking myself, what the heck is with this spike? And what it is someone going all the way back to episode 1 and downloading like 190. So that's always a good feeling, seeing some of those numbers pop. And it's slow and steady wins the race for sure. One of the reasons I like live shows is I want everyone to sweat a little bit. I want there to be that edge to the show where whatever we say is what it is. So I've been a fan of live since the inception of it. And what I noticed too is every time I went on a podcast, I didn't ever see them edit it. Who's editing these podcasts? They're pretty much live shows anyway, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and I think the going on the podcast is really the important piece for a business that's getting started out or trying to grow their audience. Having your own podcast is really cool. And it's fun to say that you have a podcast, but growing the audience for your own show is a challenge, and it's going to take effort. It's not I have a podcast, and look, I'm now internet famous. That's not how it works for 99% of us. But going on the other shows is a huge opportunity for business people, because now you're getting out in front of all these audiences who may have never heard of you before. And like the one little thing I said for you that had impact, you might do that for people across the country on all these different shows. And that's really the power of podcasting. It's not so much that you have a show, it's that you're on shows and you're getting your message out there.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the people with podcast shows. I've been on over 60 of them. Yeah, over 60 of them so far. And so I really love being a podcast guest. Yeah. Not necessarily the organizer, but the guest. But I appreciate the organizer. Yes, thank you, Kellen.
Cool. Thank you.
But yeah, I've been over 60 podcasts. It's really great just to also meet other people, just meet other business owners too. But being able to just know that somewhere out there, someone is listening, at least getting the message, that of whatever it is that I'm sharing or preaching, or that whoever it is who's listening wants to be a guest, that you're sharing with the world.
Well, and it's really fun when you get that LinkedIn message, hey, I just heard your episode on such and such a show, and I love that you said this. Can we connect? Yes, we totally can be my friend.
That's the idea.
And yeah, and it's really cool. It's like, all right, sweet. So what I'm saying is reaching people, and it's having a positive impact, and that's really cool.
And again, with what you said, Kevin, I think that the term that we use and that we always try to tell our clients is leverage other people's influence. So in this case, Kellen has, as in his show, he's got a career behind him that actually a following community that listens to his shows. And then we come in, and with his credibility, we just leverage that into ourselves, and it creates a good show for the people around and the people listening, and that's very, very, very powerful.
The only part of that I disagree with is the credibility bit, but everything else you said was right. I have no credibility. I'm kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, marketing as a foreign language, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. YouTube.com/Send It Rising, as we're trying to funnel all the traffic. iTunes and Spotify after the fact. We got about 2 minutes left on the show. I want to make sure everyone gets their word of wisdom in their selfish capitalist pitch. So let's do 30 seconds. Let's go around, starting with Kevin.
So, my word of wisdom is just get out there. Let your message, you need to share your message. Get on shows. If there's something bugging you, get on Facebook, go live and talk about it, and just start sharing your vision for what you want to create. And that's really what's going to drive people to say, I want to be a part of your world, and I want to know more about you and what you do.
Yes, sir. Vanessa.
If they don't know, you will not grow. That's what I was saying. I'll leave it at that. If they do not know, you will not grow. So get yourself out there and ensure that you are at the right place at the right time, because you just never know. You just never know what opportunity is waiting for you, but you need to show up in order for the opportunity to make it your way. That is luck. Luck is just you being there and showing up, and so that people can know about you and that you continue to grow and speak your message and share your message. Feel free to connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn.
Vanessa's Amy. Go ahead, Lucas.
For me, it's one of the things that we tell our startups, our entrepreneurs, is create a solution, the problem to the problem. We face a lot of startups that are just creating new problems instead of solutions, which they will always fail. Startups are very risky. Well, let's get that risk, but actually building something that is going to help people out.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in chatting with any of the folks, I've got all their email addresses, which I won't just give to you, but you can give it a shot. info@senditrising.com. That's info@senditrising.com if you're interested in chatting with some of the folks. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, that would be the same way to reach out to us. Thank you so much. If you're listening to this after the fact, like most people do, why don't you swing by youtube.com/Sendit Rising, hit that like button, leave a comment for the algorithm. I'd like to give a shout out to Kevin Snow, Lucas Caneda, and Vanessa Zamy for swinging by the show today. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.